Well, hey, good life, and happy Friday. Hope you're having an awesome day. I want to talk to you about something today that I've been thinking about because as I'm coming to you, I'm currently sandwiched in between two wedding weekends. So we've had two young couples in our church that are getting married this past weekend. I was a part of one, and then I'm pretty sure as you're watching this tomorrow, I've got another one coming up. And what an exciting moment. You know, I find in my own life, ever since I've gotten married, that I'm just way more of a softie towards weddings. That moment where the bride comes down the aisle and the groom is there standing and watching her. It's such a powerful, just climactic moment. I love it. And as I was watching the bride come down the aisle at this wedding this past weekend, I had this thought that I think is relevant to us. And it's this thought that I want to speak over us today and then just think about a little bit. And that is this: that the end of history is not a funeral, but it's a wedding. The end of times, what we see in Scripture, is not that of a funeral, but it is that of a wedding. Now think about that with me for a moment. Think of the emotions that we feel when we think about a wedding in the same way when we think about a funeral. So often when I view the things that are going on in life, whether it's through social media or just flipping on the news or whatever it is for you, it feels like everything is framed to make us believe that we're headed towards a funeral, that everything's getting worse and worse, that if we don't make the right decisions now, everything's going to be just ruined forever. But I want you to know that if you are a believer in Jesus Christ, if you are found in Him, that you are not headed towards a funeral. Even when death comes into your life or those around you, we are not headed to a funeral, but we are headed towards a wedding. That one day we recognize that we will be with Jesus and that we will be presented to Him like a bride, pure and spotless and redeemed to Christ as the groom. And there's going to be a huge wedding party in heaven. That's the day that we look toward. And just give you two things today of how that can just change our outlook on the day. The first is this: that knowing that we're looking forward to a wedding, we should live our life not in fear, but instead in love. Yeah, I know scary stuff happens in life. There's anxieties, there's stress, there's fear in this life. But ultimately, we have to realize that the perfect love of Jesus, it drives out and casts out fear. So whatever that thing is that is bothering you, that's giving you fear in your heart as you look towards the future, I would just encourage you to instead let the love of Jesus wash over you. And then lastly, I would say, as we look forward to the wedding, it should change our perspective. Change our perspective, because on that day, what will matter? And I pray and hope that for you and I, the things that we're investing our life in today, that we would be investing our life into things that will still matter on that day when we have a wedding party in heaven with Jesus. So I'll leave you with this: the end of history, we're not headed towards a funeral. We're headed towards a wedding. And speaking of, I got one tomorrow, looking forward to it, so I'm going to sign off and let's go have a wedding party.